after Hollywood, the press, and other left-leaning anti-gun institutions in America. Here it is.
And then they used their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding.
Dana Loesch joins us tonight. Hers was the voice you heard in that ad. So, Dana, are you going to the Women's March?
Oh, Tucker, it's not the Women's March. It's only some women's march. They don't like pro-life women's groups. They don't like women who want to be empowered to use the Second Amendment to defend themselves. So I wasn't invited. They don't really like all women.
I've noticed that. How frustrating is it? I've always thought if there was a men's march that only accepted certain kinds of men who believed only a certain set of things that I happen to not believe, and yet they claim to speak for all men, it would drive me crazy. How do you feel as a woman when you see this march presented as a march that represents every woman?
Yeah. Well, they don't represent every woman. And frankly, Tucker, I know that they've been trying to flail their arms and get an apology from me or the millions of members of the NRA, and one is not coming. I just want to state that very clearly. I think my ad's fabulous, and it's absolutely correct. Stop burning down buildings and we don't have a problem. But I'm not going to be lectured to by a women's organization that features as a key figurehead a convicted terrorist. I'm not going to be lectured to by some women's organization where the organizer called for jihad against President Trump just recently while speaking at a pretty extremist conference at which Anwar al-Awlaki spoke at in 2001. I'm not going to be lectured, Tucker, by only some women, in fact, organization where they go after people like Ayan Hirsi Ali and they try to shame her for being a female genital mutilation survivor, saying that she needs to be beaten up and have her vagina taken away. So no, I'm not going to be lectured by this fake feminist women's organization. And in fact, I dare say that if these fake feminists want to see some real women, real empowered women, women who actually support and encourage varied viewpoints, they can take a trip to the NRA.
Well, that's kind of the obvious point. I've spent a lot of time at various protests, and you wish the press was honest enough just to acknowledge the obvious, which is if you go to an NRA event and you go to an event like the Women's March, who's happier, who's more polite, who's more decent to the people in their immediate vicinity? I mean, it's like not even close, actually. Just being honest. It's true.
No, it's not. And you know what? We're not going to keep out people just based on ideological differences. There are Democrats in the NRA. There are atheists in the NRA. There are pro-choice members, pro-life members. You're not going to find a more varied group. But the one thing that members of the NRA don't like, and by the way, it was from their concerns this ad came because they were very concerned about a lot of the violent actions that they had seen from the violent faction on the left. One of the things that we all don't support is burning down buildings as a form of protected speech or punching people in the face if they're wearing a Trump hat or anything like that. That's what we don't support. But no, Tucker, this is not a real feminist organization. They're only for women who think like them. It's a bigoted, fake feminist women's organization. They owe us an apology, not the other way around.
Dana Loesch, it's great to see you tonight. Thanks for coming on.
I persisted, Tucker.